So now we're going to look at 3 more examples of long division. We have here our dividend is 24x cubed plus 10x squared minus 11x minus 4, and our divisor is 6x plus 1. So we know we need to use long division because our divisor is this binomial. So let's go ahead and set up our division carriage. Oh, let's use black for that. Here we go. So we have 24x cubed plus 10x squared minus 11x minus 4, and we're dividing by 6x plus 1. And we know our process is divide, multiply, subtract, bring it on down, and bring it on back. So we start by dividing the leading term in our dividend by the leading term in our divisor, which will be 24x cubed divided by 6x, and that's going to give me 4x squared. Multiply 4x squared to our divisor, 6x plus 1. So that's going to give us 24x squared plus 4x squared. I'm sorry, 24x cubed plus 4x squared. There we go. Okay, subtract. So we're saying 24x cubed minus 24x cubed. That will be eliminated. Then we have 10x squared minus 4x squared, and that gives us 6x squared. Now, bring it on down and bring it on back. So, bring down minus 11x, and I'll bring down the minus 4. Okay, so now we have to start from the beginning. So we're dividing the 6x squared by the 6x, and that gives us 1x. So I'm going to put plus 1x. Multiply the 1x by our divisor of 6x plus 1. So that's going to give us 6x squared plus 1x. Subtract. So we have 6x squared minus 6x squared. That is eliminated. And then we have the negative 11x minus 1x. So that gives us negative 12x. Bring it on down and bring it on back. Okay. So we are dividing the negative 12x by the 6x, and that gives us negative 2. Multiply negative 2 by the divisor. So that gives us negative 12x minus 2. Subtract. negative 12x minus negative 12x is the same as saying negative 12x plus 12x. That is eliminated. Negative 4 minus negative 2 is the same as saying negative 4 plus 2. So we're left with a negative 2. And that is our remainder. So we have here our quotient, which is 4x squared plus 1x minus 2. Our remainder, which is negative 2. All right, so if we take a look at our original question, all right, our original question, we had 24x cubed plus 10x squared minus 11x minus 4 divided by 6x plus 1. We know that is equal to, in total, our quotient, which is 4x squared plus x minus 2 plus our remainder over the divisor. Okay. And another way to put this is we can say our dividend, which is 24x cubed plus 10x squared minus 11x minus 4. Right? If you want to check your work, our dividend should equal our divisor. Oops. Multiplied by our quotient plus our remainder. Okay, so if you want to check your work, right, you want to basically multiply and simplify out this expression. However, above, you'll either need to represent your answer as the quotient and remainder separately, or you want to represent your answer as the sum of the quotient plus your remainder over the divisor. And then the question will be very specific. It will say one or the other. The last part is a way for you to check your work to make sure your answer actually is equal to our dividend. Okay, let's try another one. We have here x to the fourth minus 24x squared minus 6x plus 5 divided by x minus 5. So, interesting enough, our dividend doesn't have an x cubed term, which is fine. But when we set this up, we do want to account for that. So the way we're going to do that is we have x to the fourth. We don't have an x cubed term, so I'm going to just put a 0 placeholder plus 0x cubed. Since it's 0, it doesn't change the value. It's just a placeholder minus 24x squared minus 6x plus 5. Our divisor, x minus 5. Okay, and as always, you want to begin with divide, then you multiply, and then you subtract, bring it on down and bring it on back. So divide x to the fourth by the 1x. X to the fourth divided by the 1x gives us x cubed. Multiply x cubed by the divisor, x minus 5. And that gives us x to the fourth minus 5x cubed. Subtract All right, so we're subtracting x to the fourth minus x to the fourth is eliminated. 0 minus negative 5x cubed is the same as saying 0 plus 5x cubed. So we have 5x cubed. All right, bring it on down and bring it on back. Okay. So there we go. All right, now we are going to be dividing again. 5x cubed. We're dividing that by x. And that gives us 5x squared. So I'm going to put plus 5x squared for my quotient. Multiply 5x squared by the divisor, x minus 5. That's going to give us 5x cubed minus 25x squared. Subtract. So we are subtracting 5x cubed minus 5x cubed and negative 24x squared minus negative 25x squared. It's the same as saying negative 24x squared plus 25x squared. So we get 1x squared. Okay, bring it on down and bring it on back. All right. Divide. We are dividing the x squared by the 1x, and that gives us 1x. So I'm going to put plus 1x in my quotient. Multiply 1x by the divisor. And that is going to give me x squared minus 5x. Okay, when I subtract, sometimes it's easier for me, instead of putting parentheses around my x squared minus 5x like this and do the subtraction sign, since I know that minus is being essentially distributed to the x squared and it's being distributed to the minus 5x, for me, it's just simpler to actually distribute that immediately. And so I know I'm going to subtract the x squared, and since we have minus 5x, essentially that's going to become plus. And that's how I take care of the subtraction. It's easier for me to look at it this way in a more simplified format as opposed to the minus in the parentheses. Okay, so you can do it with that whichever way you like. So we have x squared minus x squared. That's eliminated. And then we have minus 6x plus 5x. So that is minus 1x. And then bring it on down and bring it on back. Divide the minus x by the 1x in your divisor. So minus x by 1x gives us negative 1. I'm putting minus 1 in our quotient. Multiply the minus 1 by the divisor, x minus 5. So that gives us negative x plus 5. So I'm going to put a negative x plus 5. Okay, now to subtract, again, remember you're distributing this negative sign to the negative x, and you're going to distribute the negative to the plus 5. And I prefer to do it by flipping the sign. So the minus becomes plus, and this plus is going to become minus. And when we simplify that, we have negative x plus x is eliminated, plus 5 and minus 5 is eliminated. And so we're left with a remainder of 0. Okay, very, very good. So our quotient. Right, our quotient is x cubed plus 5x squared plus x minus 1. The remainder is 0. All right, and when we look at the original question, okay, we know that this is going to equal our quotient plus our remainder, which is 0. So here we just need to put the quotient because the remainder is 0. And then if you want to check your work, remember that your dividend, which is x to the 4 minus 24x squared minus 6x plus 5, is equal to your divisor multiplied to your quotient. Okay, so here you have where you can check your work. Okay, and then above where you have the two different ways where you may be required to represent your answer. All right, let's try one more example. We have here 9x minus 8x cubed plus 20 minus 12x to the 4th divided by 2x squared minus 3. And notice how we're asked specifically to write our answer in the following form: quotient plus the remainder over the divisor. Okay, so first of all, I want you to notice how in your dividend, the terms are not in standard form. And that's going to be important when you set up your division. Put your terms in standard form and make sure they go in descending order. So here we are going to set up our division. All right, so I'm going to set up my little carriage for my dividend. So I'm going to start with putting this in standard form. So I'm going to put the minus 12x to the 4th first. All right, now my x cubed term is minus 8x cubed. We do not have an x squared term, so put a placeholder of 0 plus 0x squared. All right, now we have 9x, so that's plus 9x. And then plus 20 for our constant. All right, our divisor is 2x squared minus 3. All right, now as always, our process is divide, multiply, subtract, bring it on down, and bring it on back. And so we're dividing the first term we have of our dividend, which is minus 12x to the 4th, and we're going to divide that by the first term of our divisor. And I like to write my work down for this. because it's just easier for me to visualize it. So the 12x, negative 12x to the fourth divided by the 2x squared equals negative 6x squared. Okay, so I'm going to write that above my x squared term. Multiply the negative 6x squared to your divisor. 2x squared minus 3. So that equals negative 12x to the fourth plus 18x squared. Now notice how I'm going to place my terms by like terms. Minus 12x to the fourth here, and then plus 18x squared with its like term underneath the other x squared term. Okay, when we subtract, right, as I did in the previous example, instead of doing the parentheses and the minus, I'm going to go ahead and distribute my negative to the negative 12x to the fourth. So that's going to give me a plus, and I'm going to distribute my negative to the plus 18x squared. That's going to give me a minus. So effectively now I don't need the parentheses in the negative outside because I distributed it. So negative 12x to the fourth plus 12x to the fourth is eliminated. All right. Bring down the negative 8x cubed. Okay. 0x squared minus 18x squared is negative 18x squared. And then bring down the 9x and the plus 20. All right. Bring it on down and bring it on back. Divide negative 8x cubed by 2x squared. And that gives us negative 4x. So I'm going to put minus 4x in my quotient. Multiply negative 4 by the divisor, 2x squared minus 3. All right, so that's going to give us negative 8x squared plus 12. I'm sorry. I should have multiplied by 4x. Let's fix that. Minus 4x here. So let's redo our work. Multiply by negative 4x. So we get negative 8x cubed and then plus 12x. So, all right, let me place my like terms. Negative 8x cubed and then the plus 12x. And I noticed I made a mistake because when I was going to go place my first term here, these should match. And if they don't match, I know I made a mistake. And I was originally about to put the minus 8x squared, which wouldn't have made sense because it doesn't match the minus 8x cubed. And so that's how I knew something didn't go right earlier. Okay, but now we're good. So now subtract, right? So parentheses with the negative outside. So if I distribute that negative, the negative 8x cubed becomes plus, and the plus 12x becomes minus, which means I don't need the parentheses in the minus. Okay, so negative 8x cubed plus 8x cubed is eliminated. Bring down the minus 18x squared. 9x minus 12x is minus 3x. And bring down the plus 20. All right, so bring it on down and bring it on back. Divide. We're dividing the minus 18x squared by 2x squared. and that gives us -9. I'm putting -9 in my quotient. Multiply -9 by the divisor, 2x squared minus 3. So when we distribute, that is going to give me -18x squared plus 27. All right. Placing my like terms. So when we subtract, I'm going to distribute that negative to the -18x squared. And the plus 27 becomes -27. So I don't need the parentheses and minus. All right. All right, so let's simplify here. The -18x squared and the plus 18x squared is eliminated. Bring down the -3x, and the 20 minus 27 gives us -7. Okay, I'm done dividing because here I can see in my remainder, the -3x, the degree is 1. And in our divisor, our degree is 2. And so since it is now here, my remainder has a degree that is lower than a divisor. That's how I know that I'm done. All right, so let's write our answer in the format that was requested, which was, we have here, why don't I repeat the question? How about that? We'll copy and paste it. There we go. All right, so we have 9x minus 8x cubed plus 20 minus 12x to the 4th divided by 2x squared minus 3 is equal to our quotient, right? So we have -6x squared minus 4x minus 9 plus our remainder, which is -3x minus 7 over our divisor, 2x squared minus 3. Okay, and we wrote it in this form because that is what was asked in the directions. We can see here it says quotient plus the remainder over the divisor. Okay, but as always, remember, you can check your answer because we know that our dividend, which is 9x minus 8x cubed plus 20 minus 12x to the 4th should be equal to our divisor multiplied to our quotient plus the remainder. Okay. And you can use this to check your work.